at this point, how are you feeling camaraderie-wise with the rest of the team?
Yeah, I think the guys are doing a great job. Just the bonding, the time we spent together, all the hard work, the times in San Diego, the time, with the O-line and the whole offensive dinners and all that. But ultimately, the time in the film room, the time in the locker room, the time on the field. Obviously, it's been a great training camp, great OTAs. Couldn't be much better. And I think that the biggest part of it is just us, knowing that we're ready to go. We're locked in. We're ready to play some football.
You mentioned the film room. Daboll said that sometimes he'll pop his head in and see Malik there and some of the wideouts, and that's just one way that the chemistry is building. How does that help the quarterbacks and the receivers get on the same page?
Well, we spend a lot of time together. All the receivers, the tight ends, running backs, the O-line. We spend a lot of time together. We spend extra time together. That's the important part, though. I think about even yesterday, just spending a good hour and a half with the guys, just watching a bunch of film, understanding what they do well. They do a lot of things well, and we got to be ready for that. I think they got a lot of great vets and guys that I've obviously played with, guys like Bobby and Luvo's a tremendous football player. They got a guy like Von Miller who's exceptional. Lattimore's done a lot of great things over his career. They had a good secondary and just so I think a big part of it. Payne's a great player up front. So they got a lot of really good players and a really good system in what they do. They do it really well. And so for us, going back to your question, I think the big part of it is us continuing to grow, us continuing to see the things the same way. Spending a lot of time on the meticulous work of it all. And I think that detail and that obsession that we have, and whatever I can help guys with and understanding and studying and anticipating things and all that, I think the better. And this game's about making plays, but it's also about processing what happens on the field and being prepared. And I think we're ready to go and prepared.
Russ, Giants fans are really going to get indoctrinated into the moonball now. Can you talk a little bit about the evolution of that? I read that it actually might have come from a conversation you and Peyton Manning had at the Manning Academy when you were younger.
Not necessarily. I mean, not specifically. I think though. I think a big part of it for me is always just. I think with the moonball or whatever. It's giving guys the chance. I think. I got tremendous receivers. Guys can make a lot of plays. It all starts with offensive line. Give me enough time to make those throws, and the versatility of do it all. But I think. It's definitely been a fun part of my game or whatever. But I think that the guys, the receivers make it. I remember going back to you as you were saying about Manning passing academy. I just remember us getting in like a deep ball competition thing and all that. And I just remember, I think I won the drill, and it was just fun. I remember being at that camp and all that. So just a lot of it is a lot of hard work, a lot of time. It's like anything. You guys see Steph Curry, shoot 1,000 shots. It's like you got to do it and practice it. You got to practice just throwing, all the time. And there's never a time where you don't take, where you take a bunch of time off throwing. And I think that's part of it. But ultimately, you got to have playmakers.
You guys do so much to get ready for week one.
And how this Giants team is perceived heading into this first game. There was a lot of questions at the beginning of camp, and now there's expectations for success. What do you think changed over training camp that has people looking on the ups for the Giants this year?
Well, I think that what we've been evolving, not necessarily changing, but I think definitely evolving, is just our mindset. I think mindset's everything. I think belief is everything. I think, belief in one another, faith in one another, faith in the process, and belief in the process and the system and what we do really well, and then working at those things at a relentless rate. And I think Coach Daboll has done a tremendous job of leading us, communicating with us as players, challenging us accountability-wise, and I think also too, we've been having a lot of fun together, man. It's like we get to do the best thing in the world, play football, do what we love to do with a lot of guys that we love, and that's what makes it great. And especially when we get to do it with a great organization, they do it the right way here. I think that makes it fun too. You come to work, you're excited to ball, and but at the end of the day, we got to go do it, and that's the thing that's the great part about it is we get to try to control that as much as possible, and I think we've been controlling the controllables, if that makes any sense. I think controllables are hard work, time, really spending a lot of time on the details of the work, and I think we've been doing that really well.
Seeing what you have, what are your expectations for this team and this offense now?
Yeah, I think the expectation is right now just focusing on today. I think I'll let that playing go by. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I think a big part of it is with expectations is just expecting the next play to be your best play and letting that add up. And hopefully you have 75 really great moments. And that's what I've really learned and believed, for the longest time is that, I think the expectation is just doing this play right, doing this play well, and then letting those add up. And then when you look at it all at the end of the season, you're like, dang, that was pretty good, hopefully. I think that's what we want to be able to do.
After all the work you do in the off season, how good does it finally feel to put it all together as you head out there for week 1?
Yeah, it's my 14th season. I'm blessed to be able to do what I love to do. And I got so much energy, so much belief, and so much confidence in who we are, what we can do, who we are as a team. And this team has got a lot of great talent and a lot of great guys, high character guys, a lot of will, a lot of want-to, and a lot of determination to do it right way. I think about guys like Nacho, who is a great leader. Even though he's not a captain, he's a tremendous leader, a vocal leader. He's a guy that's up front and just, I think about obviously when you have your most dominant players like guys like Dexter Lawrence, who's a dominant player, but he's practicing his butt off on a Wednesday and knows that it's time to show up and show out. He's ready to go. Guys like Burns. I think about the offensive line. I saw Runyon in the locker room early this morning, and he went straight to the weight room early in the morning. And just that, when you have a veteran O-lineman, other guys up front too that are the same way in the weight room, spending extra time, those little things add up. And I think that's just been consistent throughout the whole process. And so we're doing it together, and we get to do it, and like I said, play the game we love.
Russ, for you, this will be, I believe, your 200th career start. So for you, does that mean anything? And two, does it kind of make you appreciate the longevity you've had at this point to be consistent and stay ready?
Yeah, I think to be able to have 200 career starts, regular season starts, and not even counting playoffs, it's a blessing. I think a big part of it too is, like you said, longevity. I think longevity. I think also too just the will and determination to have a plan. Meaning, what's my treatment schedule? What time I'm waking up? What time are you doing this? What, the consistency and the obsession with that. What time we're watching film, knowing that, hey, on Tuesday, it's Tuesday, what we're doing. Hey, on Wednesday, we know exactly what we're doing, and that plan and building that out and having a vision for it. And one of my favorite scriptures is Habakkuk 2:2. It says, write it out plain so they can see it and run to it. And I think a big part of it for me is writing it out and seeing it and doing it. And, God's blessed me with a lot of talent, and I've had a lot of great people around me to push me and challenge me, and I love that every day. And just to do it with these guys, man, it makes it fun. I get to, like I said, do what I love to do. A lot of great guys.
Russ, talk about your relationship with Daboll. You guys communicate a lot away from the field.
Yeah, Dave's and I talk all the time. I probably have more FaceTimes with him and all that. We spend a lot of time on football, a lot of time on just life. I got to know his family really well, his kids and stuff like that. Obviously, we have little kids, and they all hang out. And he's just a tremendous football coach. He's a great man too. He's competitive. I love that about him. He loves his players. I really have really high regard for Coach Daboll and the man that he is, the friend he is, but also the coach that he is.
You talked about how he holds players accountable. Could you give a few examples of that?
Not too many. There's a bunch of them, but we hold that in the locker room. But I think most of it is we want to play good, efficient, effective football, offensively, defensively, protecting the football. Also at the same time, being physical, all the things that we need to do. I think that's important, and that's what all the film's for.
Two more. Russ, also, I believe you're also the first black quarterback to start a Giants season opener, and there's going to be 16 black quarterbacks starting this season. Just for you, what does that mean, just seeing how black quarterbacks have just been involved as far as, guys, it doesn't matter if you guys play against each other or not, but just the opportunity you guys are getting there, it just feels natural, I guess.
Yeah, to be honest with you, the game's changed a lot. When I think about when I came in, 2012, there wasn't many, black starting quarterbacks. I think about, Cam Newton had a heck of a year, his rookie year. Robert Griffin was the same year as me as well. He had a great rookie year. Guys that were just unbelievable football players. Colin Kaepernick was the year before me. Tyrod Taylor was playing some in Buffalo, but really that was really it. The game has changed. I think the game. We've had a lot of. I think what's been really cool about it is, when it's going actually ironically playing the Commanders. When you think about Doug Williams, the time between that Super Bowl fortunately, I was able to win 1, 2 as well and go to 2. I think that changed a lot. It changed a lot in terms of the perspective, not just being a black quarterback, but also the height part of it. Obviously, Drew Brees did a tremendous job of setting me up for success. Michael Vick, guys before that, Doug Flutie and others. But I think that the reality of the game, like I think you said 16, right? Like 16 black starting quarterbacks. That's a big deal. And it's just showing that the game's evolving, the league is evolving, and we need to continue that. But if you can play, you can play.
How big of your second season? You obviously won a Super Bowl in your second season. What does it take to sort of raise your level as a rookie quarterback to a second year like Jaden's going to have to do?
I wouldn't want to tell him too much. No, I'm just kidding. I think that I think first of all you got to have a great team. To do anything great in this league, you got to have a great team. You got to have great teammates, and you got to have a great coaching staff and all that. I think that matters. I think also what matters is you got to have great resilience, just unbelievable resilience. Not everything's going to go your way, but when you're resilient, you don't blink. And you really have great confidence. Your confidence doesn't waver. I think for me, fortunately, throughout my career, especially early on, and even as of late, I never blinked. Just you believe in who you are, what you do, how you treat people, and you realize that the years add up, and the yards add up, the touchdowns add up, and the wins add up, and the most important part is the wins and the love for that, and just I think that the days add up in a great way. When you reflect back on it, man, you think about all the memories you have and all that. And so I think early on in your career, it's just, embracing every moment. And, I've been fortunate to be able to embrace every moment. And I know for me in year 14, I feel like this is year 1, just you embrace it all over again. And I feel young, I feel vibrant, I feel, just energetic. And I think it's because I just, have great confidence, but 2, you work at it, and 3, most importantly, you got great people around you. When you got great people around you, that's the part you love, and so, I feel good and excited about that.
How big a boost would it be if when you get Andrew Thomas back? How big a boost would it be if when you get Andrew Thomas back?
Obviously Andrew's, man, he's a monster, and he's been doing a great job of getting ready to go, and we'll see what happens. But I think that we got great guys up front. We've Hudson's played a lot of ball. We believe in him. All the guys, we've got a lot of experience up front. We're very confident in who we have, and I'm very confident in Andrew, if the time is now and all that. So that's up to Andrew and the coaches and the trainers and all that stuff. But just excited about our team, man, excited about who we have and what we're doing, and excited about practice tomorrow and the rest of the day.